Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. We're going to be sharing with you what is it that we do in our review sessions and how it works for us. My name is Dr. Florencia Gabriele, and I teach economics at Emmanuel College. Emmanuel College is a small liberal arts school located in Boston, Massachusetts.
Hello, everybody. My name is Mariella Hansen, and I'm a double major in economics and math. I'm a senior, and I tutor and TA a wide range of courses, everything from intermediate macroeconomics to environmental economics to history of economic thought.
Now, because we're teaching online, we use a lot of technology in our classrooms. There's a lot that we would like to share, but we're not going to be able, because we only have 10 minutes, we're not going to be able to model all these tools for you. So usually we use Nearpod, Padlet, Edpuzzle. We have our students make some videos on TikTok. We use Hypothesis and Mentimeter.
Nearpod is an interactive assessment-based learning platform. It's open source and can be used by professors, TAs, or tutors. It's especially helpful when revising material prior to exams or tests. So through the interactive nature of Nearpod, instructors can assess students' understanding of the material before, during, and after a lecture, or a review session if that's what you're doing. And at the beginning of a review session, students can take a poll to identify which topics they want to revise, or a brief diagnostics test, which can help the instructor see what material students are confident about or which areas they might need more clarification. There's also the ability to do traditional lecture slides that can be used to cover important content and outline key ideas of the course. And the students can also submit short answer questions to an open question to initiate any discussion. So after the review session, you as a professor or TA receive a report where you can see the answers to any quizzes, how students did, if you do any polls, or the answers to the collaborative boards that you do in class, which you can also share with the class to help them study for the midterm or final exam. So we did a quick survey after we used Nearpod in a recent review session where we asked students what they liked about that particular review session. And everybody really liked the use of Nearpod. They thought it was a great way to review concepts, and they loved having the interaction with the class. Felt like the students were actually coming together to learn and review concepts, which is very important, especially in this online climate.
Something else we like to do is to incorporate social media into our classes. And sometimes as an exit ticket, we ask students to do a short video, and we would take a TikTok video where they can name, for example, 3 things that they have learned in that class. For the purpose of time, we're not going to show the video, but we leave the link here so you guys can see it. Something else we use a lot is Mentimeter. I really like using Mentimeter because I know that my students, when they're at home watching the class, they have their cell phones on their hands. So I like to put that cell phone into good use, and I like to ask them questions. So as you can see, there are many questions that you can ask through Menti. So multiple choice, word clouds, open-ended questions. You can ask your students to rank different items. You can do Q&A, or you can do more sophisticated questions. Right now, I'm going to show you something that very simple questions that I asked on the first day of History of Economic Thought. I asked my students who was their favorite economist, and not surprisingly, the majority of them said Adam Smith. So it was fun to be able to answer a question out of them together and to see which was the most popular answer. We also like to use Padlet. Padlet is another free technology that it's open to any educator. We can have up to 3 boards for free. So in this Padlet that I'm showing here, we were revising what is it that we learned in the class where we cover Karl Marx. And we can see that students could share anonymously some thoughts with us. I like to assign videos as homework for my classes, and I think that they're a really good way to prepare before an exam. Students can replay the classes because we record them for them, but it's also good that they get a different voice and a different perspective than mine. So the good thing about Edpuzzle is that I can create my classroom in there, and I can select any videos from YouTube, and I can either use questions that were done by someone else, or I can create my own questions. Students are going to be going through the video, they're going to be watching it, and after a few seconds, they're going to have different questions popping up. They can, if they were not paying attention, they can go back, they can rewatch a section, and then they get to answer the questions. At the end, when this assignment is due, I get a report and I see everyone's responses. Something else we use a lot in our history of economic class is hypothesis. The class is very intense in readings. So with hypothesis, students can annotate those readings. They can comment on them. I can provide answers if they have any questions. And what I noticed when I was using this in face-to-face classes is that the students that were shy and did not dare to speak as much in class could find a way to express their emotions or their thoughts in here. Now that the classes are online, I see that this is very useful, and this is something that my students enjoy doing because they can have a conversation on hypothesis. We recently asked our students, what is the role of technology in class? And we were very happy that the responses were so honest and so candid. Our biggest worry was that technology was destructive. And I think that sometimes it can be. I think that having their cell phones on their hands all the time could be destructive. But overall, we believe that we have a positive response. So technology can make a class more entertaining. Technology can integrate social media. It's easier to add the gamification aspect to class. And most importantly, we try to use technology to create community. Now, sometimes students feel more isolated with the use of technology, and some of them, a few of them said that it makes cheating easier, which is something to have in mind. We also use some techniques that doesn't necessarily require technology. So we ask that our students sometimes work collectively, or they do some self-directed study. Again, because our class is so heavy in readings, we provide some sort of workbook that students can work on as they're reading along. Also, we have created a system of study buddies. So students constantly are checking on at least one student for assignments or for questions. In history of economic thought, it's very important that we understand the content in which situations happen or some economist was writing. So we use timelines quite frequently. Here we can see one timeline that was done using technology. And also on this slide, we have one timeline that was done on paper. We also ask students to do mind maps, and we think that this is very useful for connecting ideas. Here we have a mind map that was done on the board, one that was done on a computer, and a drawing that a student did as we were watching a documentary.
Recently, we had our students complete a survey where they ranked their favorite activities, and their favorite one was Nearpod, which is very exciting. The second best was Zoom breakout rooms, which shows how much students appreciate talking to each other and collaborating on different activities. Students also liked video activities, which we try to use more and more in our classes, since students like reading less than watching videos. Students also like individual homework, which makes sense in this virtual setting where it's difficult to communicate. They also like the mind maps, connecting different ideas and getting an overview over different concepts. They also like Mentimeter, like Dr. Gabrielle explained, using polls and other interactive components. They like group homework, and then the timelines was the least favored. But in other classes, we've seen timelines as one of the favorites also.
Thank you everyone for joining us today. Here's our contact information. We would love to stay in touch. Bye-bye.